Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. All right, we're going to talk about a topic here I said that we would never do on this video, and it's going to be about politics. I know it's a pretty controversial issue, but I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. I think there's a lot of issues morality-wise that need to be addressed, and I thought I'd kind of throw them together and put them in this video. And I realize there's going to be a lot of topics and points here I'm not going to cover, but these are just some major players that I thought was right. So regardless of who you vote for, I just want to say I think there's good and bad people on both sides, and ultimately it's your right to vote for who you want to based on the First Amendment, freedom of speech. Do whatever you want. But I just wanted to throw in a couple points here that I thought were important, and we're going to throw in a lot of biblical scriptures as well. Jesus even got into politics, so we're going to cut right into this. So the purpose of this channel is we address controversial and difficult questions to help defend your faith. If that's something that you're interested in, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, like, and the bell notification. And we send out videos every Monday at 8 a.m. And I think I'm actually going to start pushing out 2 videos a week. So stay tuned, maybe every Thursday at 8 a.m. as well. I'm starting to get more videos out. So I'm going to dive right into this. So I want to make a couple points first based on what the Bible says and God says. So God specifically created governments and said that we should be the salt and light in them. So he ordained everything, and we're to be the salt and the light in the world. So this comes from Matthew 5:13. It says, "Ye are the salt of the earth, but if the salt have lost its savor, wherewith shall it be salted? It is henceforth good for nothing, but to be cast out and to be trodden under foot of men. Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid." So whatever you do, whenever you go out in the world, you're supposed to be a light. People should be looking at us Christians being like, man, what's up with that guy, or what's up with the girl? There's something different, unique about them. Regardless of what happens, we need to be fearless. If a candidate gets elected that you don't like, it's no big deal. Everything's going to be okay. I'm just going to go out with a bang preaching the gospel. You should too. And after someone gets elected, there's really nothing you can do. So why worry about it? Matthew 5:15, "Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house." There it is again. If you hide a candle, you won't be able to see it. It's going to be dark, but when you stick it out in the house, you can see everything around you. That's the way Christians are supposed to be. "Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven." That's a big one right there. I was a lukewarm Christian for a very long time. But when someone looks at you, he should be like, wow, that's a godly person. That's something that I want to be like. Here's the second point I want to make it too. I feel like I hear this all the time, that people say that Christians or the church shouldn't be involved with politics. Why not? Politics, they control everything. And I would say, what about the other religions? Atheism is a religion. It's a faith. How come they can vote and get involved with politics, but Christians can't? Everyone has a right to get involved with politics, regardless of your faith, if you're Muslim, if you're a Catholic, whatever it is. I believe I'm right. I think my point of view and my very humble opinion as a Christian, I'm right. But hey, it's you're allowed to practice what you want. You have freedom of speech, and I think anyone should be able to do what they want. So look at this. Politics affect everything. One of the big ones is the church, your business, your property, your school, your home, your safety. The school, I think, is a big one. I would love to see where you can choose what kind of school you want to go to. I feel like, again, a lot of these schools, they teach evolution. I should be able to pick for my child, hey, let's just do the Abeka system of just Christian Science. The politics, they control your money, your health, your children, your life, your rights. Politics control everything. Every single person in the United States needs to be involved with politics and who they vote in. Here's the last point I want to make. Politics affect the church and specifically evangelism. Think about this. You can't evangelize in Iran, Saudi Arabia, China. What goes on in government affects all our lives, including our religious lives. Let's talk about what I think one of the major big topics is religious freedom. This will be number one. If this picture can tell you anything, if you know what this is a picture of a map of South Korea on the bottom and North Korea at the top. You can see how you see all the lights shining, and up here, this is communism versus freedom. This is just black and white. And you actually have South Korea, which is one of the largest dominant Christian nations. That was a few years ago. I'm sure things have probably changed, but this just gives you an idea. Freedom of religion. I'm sure the people in North Korea would love to just be able to have freedom of religion and do what they want. So let's look at Matthew 23, 23, how Jesus kind of got involved with politics. It says, "Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you pay tithe of mint and cumin and have omitted the weightier matters of the law, judgment, mercy, and faith. These ought ye to have done, and not to leave the other undone." So here it is. You see this all throughout the people doing works and tithing, but they forget about being, proper judgment, having mercy with people, being faithful. This is what Jesus says are some of the biggest points of the law. "Ye blind guides which strain a gnat and swallow a camel." So I think freedom of religion is a very big one when we look back here. The second one, again, this is going to be politically correct. So if you have kids in the room or you're highly offended, this will not be politically correct. I'm just kind of stating my views. I know a lot of people will agree with me. It's fine. So let's go back to Genesis 2. This is what it says about marriage. It says, "Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh." Is the political party, I believe, is between one man and one woman. That's the way marriage should be. And just so I state this correctly, God is against any type of sex that's outside of marriage. So that's for you Christians as well. No matter what, any type of sex outside of marriage, God forbids. So we can judge all day, but are you the person that's kind of following this? But I think God is actually trying to tell us something here. If you look at the rise of STD cases, here it is from the 1950s up until now. And I get it, there's definitely more people in the U.S., so of course they're going to increase. But just with certain diseases like syphilis and chlamydia, you have almost 3 million cases right now all throughout the U.S. I think God was trying to tell us something. Like, think about it. If you're with one partner, that person's been with, say, 2 or 3 partners. The person before that has been 1 or 2 partners. You've been exposed to 10 people. That's pretty horrific. So I think we got to do better with our education as well, teaching kids to stay abstinent and protecting these kids from sex and wanting to wait and possibly till marriage. Here's just another graph that talks about these diseases just climbing. You can see since 2014, and this is only up until 2018, it's increases significantly. I'd like to see where it's at maybe in 2020 now. So we have to do a better job of pushing and protecting our youth from these diseases that are rising. We have to educate them. Here's a big one for me. This shouldn't even be a Christian issue. I'm surprised that it is a political issue. Is the sanctity of life. We have to protect our unborn children. Hey, let's look at some quick definitions here real quick. Let's look at what the word abortion is. It's the deliberate termination of a human pregnancy, most often performed the first 28 weeks of pregnancy. Now, I get it. Some people say there's exceptions, but what you're talking about is 1%. I get that bad things happen, but 99% of pregnancies are just, people just do them. It's pretty horrific. And we're going to look at this here a little bit more in just a second. Let's look at the definition of human, relating to or characteristic of people or human beings. Let's look at a baby, a very young child, especially one newly or recently born. So I would actually disagree with this definition, newly or recently born. So after you give birth, was it a baby before the womb or was it after? So it's kind of strange to me about that definition. But let's just look how weird these things are. A double homicide, the unlawful killing of 2 or more people, which in the U.S. is typically punished by back-to-back life sentences. So if someone happens to kill a woman and she's pregnant, that's actually counted as a double homicide. So it's funny how these definitions work, and people keep saying, oh, it's not a human. So let's look at some pictures real quick. This is what a human looks like at 8 weeks. And I'm going to pause for effect here. I want you to look at these, and we're going to progress these. So you can already see the arms, you can see the legs, you see the umbilical cord, certain features of the baby. And look at this, is just 12 weeks. Are you telling me this isn't a human? Is this not a baby? You can see the fingers there. Look at the arm. Do you think this baby feels pain? I think it does. Here's 16 weeks. This is undeniable. Look at this. You see the ears, maybe the potential of the eyes growing. Look at the arms and the hands and the veins going through it. This is 100% human life. You can't deny it. Here's 20 weeks, baby sucking its thumb. And you can see its facial features start to go in. This is just at 20 weeks. There's 24 weeks. I remember my daughter was born. I actually have, or before she was born, I had pictures of her smiling in the womb. Really, really cool pictures. This is a live being that we need to stop aborting. To me, sanctity of life is one of those important issues. And again, I think there's people on both sides of the political spectrum that are good people that are trying to do away with abortions. But I think this is a big one. I'm pro-life, and we need to do something about this. You can't look at this and tell me that this isn't a baby. Look at this. 28 weeks, not even fully formed yet. And they go through with these abortions and they just slaughter these babies all over the U.S. It's completely insane. They snap these babies' necks, kill them, pull them out. And again, I get there's bad circumstances, but I think every baby has a right to life as well. I heard a story of a pastor talking to this congregation. This guy stands up, and long story short, his mother was going to abort him. And he ended up not aborting him, and now he's a pastor of a church. And he's been able to impact people all over the world. So this, in my opinion, is one of the most important issues. I don't see how anyone can look at this and say, this isn't a human or we have to kill this thing. So let me ask you a question if you're not pro-life. If you have a baby, is it okay for me to just go kill it 6 months after birth? Is that murder? What about 3 months after birth? What about 1 month? What about 1 week? You see where I'm going here? What about 1 day? Is it okay to kill the child? So why is it okay to destroy this child inside the womb? This is completely insane. It's a baby. It's a 100% living organism that feels pain. I'm going to draw this in. Look at this. This guy's name is Nick Hoot. This guy actually survived an abortion. This is a real picture. If you look at his right leg, he has half of his leg missing. And he's missing part of his foot. He's missing part of his fingers. He survived an abortion. This is a botched abortion that he survived. There's another picture of him. He's actually putting on some type of leg stent, a prosthetic leg, and you can see it on his other one. This stuff happens all the time. This isn't just some cases. This happens all the time. So let me ask you a question for people that aren't pro-life. Is a baby an animal? Is it molecules, a vegetable, or is this a human? This is 100% human. You're actually taking away a woman's right when you perform an abortion. That's my opinion. So let's look at Luke 1. Where does maybe the Bible talk about babies? I thought this was interesting. Luke 1:41, it says, "And it came to pass that when Elizabeth heard the salutation of Mary, the babe leaped in her womb, and Elizabeth was filled with the Holy Ghost." I remember when both my daughters were inside my wife's stomach, you get to a certain point, you can feel the baby moving around. It's one of the most powerful things. If you ever had kids before, it's an awesome experience. "And she spake out with a loud voice and said, Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb." Let's look at this unborn victims violent act. A United States law which recognizes an embryo or fetus in utero as a legal victim. So again, if you go kill a woman and the baby's there too, you get a double homicide. Interesting. It's a human. Thomas Jefferson, he even said that life is one of the most important parts. It says, "We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." Thomas Jefferson. He even said life is the most important feature. So what am I trying to tell you? Don't confuse religion with morality. I'm not saying that you have to go to church, you have to do this, you have to do that. To me, this is just common sense. Just because I'm pro-life doesn't mean, hey, you got to go to the church, you got to do this on Sunday, you got to be part of the Bible study. I'm not saying that at all. It's up to you what you want to do. I just think we should do something to protect children. So what are the most important matters of law? Jesus was addressing that with the Pharisees. And life is the most important. And it's funny how politicians are more concerned about light bulbs than they are protecting kids. It's completely insane to me. Let's protect these kids, and then if you want to figure out these other things later, go ahead. But in my opinion, life is the most important feature. So let's jump back to the Old Testament real quick. We're just going to be a few more minutes here in Jeremiah 7. "For the children of Judah have done evil in my sight, saith the Lord. They have set their abominations in the house, which is called by my name, to pollute it. And they have built the high places of Tophet." That's just a city which is in the valley of the son of Hinnom. So that's a valley, a city inside a valley. "To burn their sons and their daughters in the fire, which I command them not, neither came it into my heart." So this is pretty hardcore. The Canaanites had this gold altar called Moloch. This is in the Old Testament. You can read about it. And they would heat up this gold altar and they would sacrifice live babies onto things. and the babies would be screaming, and they would bang these drums so the parents couldn't hear the babies scream. This is what was going on in these times of the Canaanites, and God warned these people for 400 years. See, God is very slow to anger. He's very patient, but eventually he acts and he does something about it. Look at this. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be called Tophet, nor the valley of the son of Hinnom, but the valley of slaughter, for they shall bury in Tophet till there be no place. And the carcasses of this people shall be meat for the fowls of the heaven and for the beasts of the earth, and none shall fray them away. These people were horrendous people slaughtering these babies. They were doing a lot of other crazy stuff too. Just read about the Canaanites. There's a lot of historical stuff outside the Bible as well. Then will I cause to cease from the cities of Judah and from the streets of Jerusalem the voice of mirth. This is just an amusement expression, people like laughing, which is pretty insane. It makes me think of when they passed the abortion law in New York. Read it. And people are on both sides cheering about this law that we can destroy babies after, I think it was 28 weeks. People just cheering and laughing, excited. Yay. Completely insane to me. Again, you don't have to agree with that. That's just my opinion. And from the streets of Jerusalem, the voice of mirth and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom and the voice of the bride, for the land shall be desolate. So judgment's coming. He's going to act. He's been very patient, but I think we're in some end times here. But I know, look, every generation's probably said that. Could be another 100 years, 1,000 years. I have no idea. But everything seems to be lining up that stuff's coming soon. So what am I trying to say here? All of us are flawed, and you're not going to find the perfect candidate. I'm not trying to say all Republicans are good. I'm not trying to say all Democrats are bad, because they're not. I get it. There's good people on both sides. So based on these issues, I think these are some important ones. I totally agree. There's tons of other issues, but I think these are some that we need to get out of the way that we're not doing a good enough job defending. So what am I trying to say here? No matter who gets elected, I just want to let you know it's going to be okay. Christians shouldn't be afraid. Our trust and hope is in God, not man. And you know what? You should pray for whoever gets elected. If you're a Christian, if you vote for someone, pray for them. And if, look, the person that doesn't get elected, pray for them too. You should be praying for both people. We should be the salt and the light in the world. And just remember this, any battle you abandon, you're going to lose by default. So, we need to keep progressing forward and start battling this. Keep going at it. We need to do a better job addressing these. Let's look at Psalm 34. I really like this scripture. It says, I sought the Lord, and he heard me and delivered me from all my fears. God's going to comfort us. There's nothing to be fearful. Everything's going to be okay. And last scripture here, I love this, Romans 10:9 and 10. This is how you get saved if you're not a Christian. You don't need me to do this. It says that if thou shalt confess with thy mouth the Lord Jesus and shalt believe in thine heart that God hath raised him from the dead, thou shalt be saved. For with the heart of man believeth unto righteousness, and with the mouth confession is made unto salvation. You just say, Jesus, come into my life. I believe that you died and rose again, and you died for my sins. And that's all you have to do. It's super simple. You don't need someone to do it for you. You can do a prayer in your home. And after you do that, I'm telling you, it's going to change you. And I would recommend getting a King James Bible and starting with the book of John. It's a fantastic book to start. So if you have any comments, questions, or topics, list them below. But I know this is a pretty controversial subject. I could go on this for days, but let's keep the comments nice. Let's just kind of keep them cordial. I do love going back and through and talking with people. It's one of my favorite things I do. So if you have questions, again, just put them down. I'm always looking for new topics as well. So if there's something you want discussed, I'll definitely talk about it. So that's all I have. Again, new videos every Monday at 8 a.m. And most likely there are going to be new videos coming out Thursdays at 8 a.m. as well. So that's it. See you guys next week.